going to go ahead and something else. Now for getting to the moon, is this okay to have these up here? I don't know. We're gonna see. No, we're gonna use this on the bottom. We're gonna use this for getting up into space. We're gonna make big old friggin' rockets. To actually get to the moon, we don't need a huge amount. To be honest, this is probably enough to get to the moon, like from space. If we're already in orbit, this is probably more than enough. $14.96 on just this, and according to my map, that is enough. According to my map, to get into low orbit, apparently to get to within 14K of the moon, which is really low orbit, we need 310 plus 860. This is from Kerbal orbit to moon orbit. Is 310 plus 860, which is 1170. Theoretically, 1496 is more than enough. So we are good. That is it. That is all we need. Can we get away with something less? Just to see. No, that's not enough. Okay, so this is good. Now, another decoupler. Does this hold anything? No, it's just an adapter. It's fine. It is a weird spaceship. You are correct. Now. No. Kaboom. Kaboom. Oddly enough, this would be enough. Not quite enough. We need a little bit more. I don't really want to use those. Let's you know what, all we really need to do is put another fuel tank in here. Theoretically, this is it. Theoretically, this works. I'm gonna strap this up a little bit more. I don't trust these. Is that correct? You know what? Let's do this again. It's fine. Did that do both? Of course it didn't do both. There, it has like 3 struts on each. The only reason that I have the nose cones on here is because of the atmospheric ascent. It's not going to be required for the moon. Should I put any batteries on here? We do have the photocells, which probably is fine. Worst comes to worst, we just have to wait around until we have enough power. We're going to use the expensive winglets on the bottom here. But theoretically, we should lose this before we even go to the moon. But we do have to should I use this instead? I think I should use the bigger one instead. Big fins for a big rocket. This is the first time that I've ever made a lander, and this is the first time I've ever used these bigger rocket parts. What other engines do we have? We had this one, right? The no, the Poodle. What if I did that? What if I did the lander directly into the adapter, and I just used the Poodle instead? Is that overkill? It would shorten the rocket, probably. How much, how much delta V is that? 2157. That's a little bit overkill. What if we use a smaller, fuel tank? This has both in it, right? Liquid fuel and oxidizers, yeah. 1305. That might be a little bit too... cutting it a little bit too close. But shortening the rocket is probably a good idea. Now, do we have the big decoupler? What is this? No, not really anything that I want. We do. We need to adjust this. This, and then this decouples, and then we use one in there, and then this decouples, and we use this, and then... 3655 is enough. Ooh, but no. Wait. We no longer have enough to get into orbit using just the bottom part. If I do that. So everything's a lot heavier. What if I... let's... go ahead and put another double tank on here. And then this one. Still kind of cutting it close. I think that I was better off the other way with the smaller bit on top. Let's get rid of this. Yeah, I'll get rid of this and get rid of this. And now we're back up to 3,500. Slightly less if we put fins. The big fins. Big ol' fins. Cutting it close though. I may in fact end up I may go ahead and use the bigger fuel after all. It's 37. I give us a little bit more margin for error. And the odd thing is, it's not that much more than what we spent for the orbiter. With that 34 versus like what was it, like 33 before? Are all the stages right? This is right. Only decouples there. So 37 is enough to get us into orbit. It should be enough to get us into an actual full orbit before we have to get rid of it. Assuming, again, assuming I can do a gravity turn, which is a big assumption. And then 1400 for the moon, for getting to the moon stage. Which is, it's more than enough. And then 2000 for landing. Does the map have anything about landing? No. So I have no idea if this says it's 580 to land from moon orbit. So 580. I mean, we should have enough because that still leaves us, you know, like 1500 more than, assuming we do it perfectly, which we're not going to be doing. This is going to be saved. Actually, take off the mech jump. Save. All right. What do you guys think? Is this going to do it? What I'm worried about is that it's going to be oddly shaped, and so it's going to want to be weird in the atmosphere, and in the atmosphere is really the important part. Well, we're about to spend $33,000 seeing if I know how to make a spaceship. Okay, go over the stage one more time. This big old friggin' stage. Actually, I didn't look at the thrust to weight ratios. Hold on, I actually need to do that. Otherwise, I'm screwed. Ooh. Okay, that is not good. My thrust to weight ratio is actually really bad. I'm gonna have to redesign this thing again. Let's do this. Let's put this on here. We're gonna add another stage. Thrust to weight ratio, basically, in case you didn't know, is the ratio of thrust to weight. There you go. No, it's if it's below 1, if it's 1 exactly, that means basically the thrust equals the amount of weight that it has, which means it's not actually going to go anywhere. It's just going to stay at whatever altitude it's at until it runs out of fuel, or realistically, as it uses up fuel, it will weigh less, and thus it will actually begin to push up. Obviously, we want more than one. But you don't want it to go too high, because then it gets unwieldy. Oops. And no, these are on the same. There. Theoretically, this is what? I can math. 3,400? 3,500? Both these. What if I use one of these instead? Wow. Is this like a little bit too much? This ends up going over over 4,000. This is like a little bit overkill. What, one of these? 2 of these, I should say. This is like 36, almost 3600. Should probably be okay. If I add these. So this ends up being 2560 plus 965, give or take. It's a really huge thrust to weight ratio. But it would end up being 34, 35. Is that what I want? I don't know if that's really what I want. Let's put these back on. And let's add to them. You know what, actually? Let's just add 4 of them. What does that look like? Oh my god, the thrust weight ratio is really huge. But it's not going to last that long. It's going to last for about a minute. What if I shorten this? Not that. This one. It's cutting it down a little bit too much. The atmospheric. I'm actually looking at the wrong thing. Cutting down the atmospheric a little bit too much. We might have to go ahead and do the big take the big thrust to weight ratio and kind of be careful. These on. These on. 27 plus 6 is 33. It's 34. This is actually kind of cutting it close to. This probably will be fine. Actually, do want all of these to. There we go. I think this is going to be it. Well, I should say this is going to be it for the bottom part. We actually still need to look at this. Thrust to weight. I don't think it really matters for the top, because obviously we only have to worry about the mass. I think it's probably fine. Let me check something real quick. Save this. Load. Where's my moon? Man moon probe 2? 2, 3. 3 is the one that actually worked. What were my thrust to weight ratios on here? Wow, really big on the bottom. Up here it was over 1. See, that's what I'm worried about. Don't save. Thrust to weight ratio on the bottom is perfectly fine. What I'm worried about is the thrust to weight ratio up here, because it's kind of heavy. This is a little bit too heavy. But I don't know if there's anything else I can really do about that, though. I don't really have any other engines to use. This 120 versus 60. Significantly more expensive. Sorry, this might be a little boring. Just watching me... Oh my god, the thruster weight issue is ginormous now. Yeah, that's a little bit overkill. I'm worried. Now, it's going to come up a little bit because obviously we're going to use fuel, so it's going to be a little bit less. But I wonder if I shouldn't go ahead and use smaller thingies. Fuel tanks. I wonder if I shouldn't like do something like this. Looks a little weird, but I wouldn't need these extra thingies. It gets me up to 1,800. Now, assuming I need 500 of that to get down there, and then at least say 1,000 to get back. Let me connect all this up again. Save this and load my other one. How much delta V did this have? $25. It did have a lot left over, but we didn't land, of course. This we don't need to worry about. This is good. What I'm worried about more right now is the lander. So what if I did this? No, not that one. This one. That didn't actually help that much at all. Oh, it's because this is going the wrong way. Why is this going the wrong way? No way. In fact, turn off mirroring entirely. Can I not turn off mirroring? Oh, I'm pressing the wrong button. Why is it... that one, and then this one. There we go. That's a bit better. I wonder if that's what happened to this. Let me. I wonder if that's why I didn't have as much as I thought. No, that's still 18. Okay. Oops. Can I not shove it in there anymore? Why? Seriously, why can't I Something bugged up. This could all be saved. This could all be remedied if I just didn't use the Science Junior. But we're going to land on the moon. I have to use the Science Junior, and I have to take it back. No way I can't do that. Already connected. Very nice. I think this is the best I can do. It might be a little bit overkill, but again, keep in mind we're using this thing to come back as well as go there. So we want to overkill it a little bit because, you know, we really need to make sure that we're coming back. Well, I think that this is about the best I can do. Although looking at it now, we don't have quite enough Delta V to get back into space now. Son of a bitch. What now? 18 plus 15 is like 32 something. I did this. 18 plus 16 is definitely over 32. Let's strip this up. It's added another $10,000 to it. Actually, it's more like $8,000 more. Thrust rate ratio is fine. A little bit high on this stage, but we should be fine. Really low on this. But theoretically, we should be fine. We should have more than enough to actually just get to the moon. That's all I really want to do, is get to the moon, and hopefully have enough to circularize our orbit, and then detach, and we use this to land. I'm going to try it. This is going to be a spectacular failure. We have an hour and 15 minutes to try to do this. Oops, let me take this off. Any other thing that we need to take off? No, I think we're good. We have the cells, we have the photocells. The Science Junior, we have 4 goos. I think 4 goos might be overkill. It's 2 goos. We're just going to have to hope for the best. Our my stage is set up. Everything goes. And those break off. And this breaks off. Do I want or need to gas line these? Does it change anything? I know, I'm still working on it. I'm sorry. I'll launch in just a moment. I'm just curious. Oops. No, that actually improves, like dramatically improves the amount of delta V I have in that one stage. Oops. It's less delta V in the very first stage, but then it's like a lot more delta V in the next stage. I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to keep that. Because that's what we want. We want more of the delta V to be in the big middle stage, because this is what we're going to theoretically use to get into orbit. To, you know, circularize our Kerbal orbit. I'm saving. We're going to launch.